Hi friends. Today I'm going to review the book, The 8 Paradoxes of Great Leadership. Embracing the Conflicting Demands of Today's Workplace by Tim Elmore. Turbulent times require a new kind of leader with 8 sets of paradoxical skills. Transformational times demand leaders who can steer their organizations in a global networked economy. Information technology and more demanding stakeholders in an increasingly volatile political and social environment call for executives with new skills. Collaborative leaders have replaced the traditional command and control hierarchies of mass-scale industrial production. Leadership is seldom easy, but today it affords us the challenge of collaborating with a more educated, more entitled, more savvy population that has greater expectations of satisfaction and rewards than in past generations. Workers and consumers know more today and prove less loyal to corporate cultures or traditional brands than they did in the past. The COVID-19 pandemic dramatically disrupted the workplace and accelerated trends toward remote work and the gig economy. Self-awareness and emotional intelligence today prove more sound markers of leaders' likely success than expertise and cognitive abilities ever can. As the workplace and workers become more diverse and more demanding, leaders face a complex landscape that calls for paradoxical skill sets. 8 sets of contrasting abilities mark the uncommon leaders who can rise to today's challenges. Leaders must be confident and humble. Great leaders have a quiet self-confidence that allows them to ask questions and acknowledge the expertise of those they wish to lead. What is rare? Who bring a stunning form of insight into complex situations and find ways to achieve their goals. Leaders must never display overconfidence, overbearing egotism, or arrogance. The old corporate culture in which senior executives could lead by the strength of their higher titles has lost its credibility with today's more educated and aware corporate teams. Great leaders gain subordinates' trust and loyalty by demonstrating the humility and self-confidence to solicit and value their expertise. Leaders must be visionary and conquer their blind spots. Sarah Blakely owes her success to her initial lack of understanding of conventional wisdom in the women's apparel industry. This lack was Blakely's blind spot when she invented Spanx, hosiery with girdle-like firming strength, and became obsessed with selling her product. Blakely had created a better product but knew little about standard marketing channels. She met with a women's apparel buyer at Neiman Marcus, who agreed to carry Spanx in 7 stores. The new product was a hit, and the high-end retailers Bloomingdale's, Saks, and Bergdorf Goodman soon offered Spanx as well. Blakely sent Spanx samples to Oprah Winfrey and sold 8,000 units through the QVC network in 6 minutes. As it turns out, Blakely founded an entirely new fashion segment, shapewear. She became a billionaire, and Forbes magazine named Blakely one of the 100 most powerful women of 2014. Many founders might even say that without the blind spot, they might have been too scared to begin. Blind spots or rookie smarts have been responsible for product innovation or the reshaping of entire industries. Marketing consultants explain that CEOs may possess so much expert knowledge of their sector that they can't see their companies and markets with a fresh perspective. They overthink and thus overlook new opportunities. Executives need to be aware that their blind spots may help boost their creativity, but remain as potential vulnerabilities. Staying focused on solving the customer's problems requires maintaining an experimental and iterative approach to product development or corporate strategy. Leaders must commit to their goals in public while working behind the scenes. Martin Luther King Jr. understood the power of his charismatic personality and the need for him to provide a clear, articulate voice as a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement. He sought to bring public attention to his cause, not to himself personally. Martin Luther King Jr. became an iconic leader for racial equality in the 1950s and 1960s. He understood that peaceful protest would be far more effective than violence in changing American public opinion. By holding peaceful demonstrations that white police and civilians responded to with arrests and vicious attacks, King Jr. showed the world that citizens and authorities in southern states abused black men and women and enforced inequality and unfair treatment. King knew words were not enough to spark change. It required an example of sacrifice and suffering. King Jr. offered personal leadership, but made the fight for civil rights the moral focus of his political actions and principles. Even as he became a legend in his lifetime, King Jr. understood that an effective movement cannot rely on any one individual leader. An effective campaign needs a cadre of organizers, spokespeople, activists, marchers, donors, and sympathizers. King Jr. groomed an entire generation of future leaders and shared a coherent goal that propelled his movement forward. Leaders should be firm in their convictions and open to new ideas. Leaders with strong guiding principles can be more open to new ideas and suggestions from their team. Ego does not drive these leaders, principles do. Samuel Truett Cathy, for example, founded the Chick-fil-A fast food restaurant chain in 1946. He struggled to keep his first restaurant afloat as he sought to develop the best possible recipe for a grilled chicken sandwich. After decades as the owner of a single restaurant, Cathy built Chick-fil-A into one of America's largest, most financially successful franchises. Although Cathy was flexible about menu choices, he insisted on maintaining his winning chicken sandwich recipe. He also insisted on strict quality control in all franchise outlets. Cathy's stubborn belief in being closed on Sundays also makes business sense. You attract more business when you care for your people and create scarcity. Throughout his life, Cathy remained true to his core values and principles. He demanded that his restaurants courteously serve black diners, despite racial discrimination in the South. He believed all his employees should have Sunday off to rest, be with their families, and worship if they chose to do so. Leaders such as Cathy encourage their subordinates' ideas, as long as those ideas align with the leader's bedrock values. His or her values, in turn, provide the business and its employees with a clear mission. Leaders need to be both deeply personal and inherently collective. We must not fall in love with an idea, but fall in love with a problem. The work of Mother Teresa and her order soon became famous. They attracted thousands of other people who replicated her work and started 5 new organizations dedicated to her mission. Her insistence on keeping her work private and one-on-one had an inspirational quality that testified to her authenticity and made her work legendary. Mother Teresa's type of leadership requires the ability to show kindness to each individual, even as you realize that you cannot help everyone. Her kindness caused others to seek her out and emulate her message and her work. Leaders must teach and learn. Steve Jobs metaphorically stepped down from his pedestal while he was standing at the podium. Suddenly, the playing field felt level. Everyone was learning. Leaders must exemplify excellence and forgive others' mistakes. Harriet Tubman was a proud revolutionary, not a consensus politician. She accepted no compromises in her work to free enslaved black people from the Confederacy. In contrast, many leaders correctly believe their job is to find common ground with their organization's disparate stakeholders. But when fundamental issues are at stake, compromise and consensus may not be possible or defensible. Tubman demanded extraordinary courage and daring from everyone who worked with her Underground Railroad. Timid volunteers faced her wrath and, on occasion, the barrel of her gun. At the same time, Tubman understood her colleagues' fears and quickly forgave them for their missteps when they completed their missions. Harriet knew someone's weak heart or faltering will could put others in danger. Yet when they came to their senses, Harriet was quick to forgive them of their weak moment and release them to continue. Construction site fatalities were common at that time, but Strauss would not tolerate the risk to workers, although he appreciated the importance of staying on time and on budget. To protect his workers, Strauss built the first ever safety net on a construction site. The best leaders accept that failures and shortcomings are inevitable on the road to success. Rare, wise leaders dominate their eras and their ideas endure. Today's leaders must vest in timeless values. Walt Disney, for example, knew that all good fairy tales and children's stories addressed life's timeless fears, struggles, hopes, and triumphs. He built a media empire by meeting children's and adults' needs for storytelling. He understood that stories must connect to current audiences, and that ancient tales evolved to serve each generation. Walt's insistence on excellence and his fondness for the past made Americans feel safe enough to join him in his exploration of the unknown future. Leaders face a world in which pandemics, rapid social changes, and disruptive smart technologies threaten the historical context of moral decision-making. Advances in artificial intelligence will test society's ability to establish moral guardrails for technology at times when information is abundant, but wisdom may be scarce. In such times, uncommon leaders will matter more than ever. Takeaways. Turbulent times require a new kind of leader with 8 sets of paradoxical skills. Leaders must be confident and humble. Leaders must be visionary and conquer their blind spots. Leaders must commit to their goals in public while working behind the scenes. Leaders should be firm in their convictions and open to new ideas. Leaders need to be both deeply personal and inherently collective. Leaders must teach and learn. Leaders must exemplify excellence and forgive others' mistakes. Rare, wise leaders dominate their eras and their ideas endure. Did you know that around 70% of our viewers haven't subscribed to our channel yet? If you're one of them, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? It's a great way to stay up to date with our latest videos and support our channel at the same time. Join the majority of our community and subscribe today. Thanks for watching.